woo, 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 woo.
Stop screaming.
Woo.
Don't embarrass me in front of my Twitch.
Woo.
Stop.
Honk, honk, honk.
Alright, so I just sent out the link. I started up the stream. I don't know if it started yet. Stop it.
Okay, you're streaming for sure.
Am I? Because I'm not seeing any chats.
You are streaming.
Nobody's subbed to me yet, so how can I know? Oh, there they are. Yeah. Alright, there you are.
That's me.
Ekinax over there. Alright, I'm just going to wait for some viewers to roll in. I'm just going to vibe and wait. So today, actually, I'll wait even for this. I just got a follower! Killer Cat Mips!
Congratulations.
Hey, Super Dark.
Congratulations.
Today I'm just
Hello,
vibing.
everyone. Hello,
God,
everyone.
your keyboard is so loud. So I don't know.
Shut up while I'm typing. Shut up while I'm typing. Shut up while I'm typing, please.
So I don't know if Lily's going to be here the whole time, but we'll watch this beautiful movie together as a family.
Oh God! Oh.
Why are you spazzing out right now, Lily? What's going on? What's happening? What's happening?
I'm filled with anger and rage.
Why? Nothing bad has happened? Nothing...
I'm filled with anger and rage.
Okay.
I'm filled with anger and rage. Oh, thank you, Kyle Smeali. Kyle's Meal Lie? Yeah, Kyle's Meal Lie. Thank you for saying my video is good. Well, you didn't say it was good. You thanked me for it, but that's the same.
I'm going to get started sharp at 5 p.m. So everyone coming in right now, leave and then come back in 4 minutes. I'm pretty pumped for this, honestly. There's something, I can't make a video about Davis Aurini, you know what I mean? I'm not allowed to make a video about this thing that has like 1,000 views on YouTube. People would get mad at me. So I have to, the only place I can do that is here. The only place.
I see.
And I love doing that.
That's a real sad predicament, really, isn't it?
Did you watch? Yes, it is. Do people not know who Davis Aurini is? Culture has a new video. What's it called?
He's the king of men.
Davis Aurini was made famous by H-Bomb. Whoa, Justice.
My Ben Garrison video is 1 of 10.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Congratulations.
Impressions click-through rate 16.7%. Wow.
Hell yeah. How many people are in the stream right now? 16?
101.
Oh, okay.
102.
Oh, they're coming in. People are coming in. So Davis Aurini famously was mocked by H-Bomber Guy and made a full hour and 22-minute documentary about Anita Sarkeesian and how much he fucking hates her. I feel like I'm about to enter into a time machine. I'm pumped as hell. This is like the first thing H-Bomber Guy did. I'm surprised there's not more awareness of it in chat. This is like the thing H-Bomb did, I feel like. You know? Is there anything H-Bomb more iconically did than brought the world to Davis Aurini? Are we watching the whole thing? I don't know. I don't think so. Oh, 7th Spectre just subscribed. Thank you, 7th Spectre. We're almost getting started. Oh,
wow.
Ziak subscribed to Tier 1. Thank you, Ziak. This dude. No, this is not the golden one. This is Davis Aurini. God. God.
You're gonna find out. You're gonna find out. Don't worry. You're
I'm
gonna
upset right now. I thought everyone would be so pumped for this. Oh my god, it's a hype train. Oh my god.
Well,
Ethan Solly just fucking subscribed. Thank you, Ethan Solly. Oh my god. Oh my god, we're on the hype train and it hasn't even begun yet, the stream. Oh my god.
man, it's great to have hype in this world. But yeah, I'm sure that like a lot of people in the chat know Davis Aurini and are like, oh, okay,
Share
yeah,
times 10.
I wasn't ready for Davis Aurini content to be enjoying today, but now I'm going to love that. And then everyone else is just really gonna learn the Davis Aurini lore.
Yeah, honestly, if somebody said, I think he's more iconic for the DK stream at this point, but he's very well aware of this.
For sure. I mean, H-Bomb is has done a lot of iconic things at this point. Definitely. This was a while ago at this point. So it's like it kind of feels like getting into the like nooks and crannies of H-Bomb content. Going back and seeing the like Davis Aurini and stuff, that kind of stuff.
Are you saying that H-Bomb has done more iconic things than I have, or? What are you saying?
I'm not saying anything.
What are you implying about me and being an icon?
I'm not implying anything. I'm not talking about you. And whatever the hell
it seems like you're talking about
do.
me when you. Okay.
Do you have any like whiskey?
I wish. Okay, I guess we should get started, right? I'm so fucking pumped!
By the way, you're showing the room URL.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Please don't destroy my stream. Please don't do this. Why is it not playing?
Relax.
Okay.
There it goes. There it goes. There it is.
Is this too loud?
I love this funky ass guitar music.
This fucking rocks, and it's so loud.
Funky guitar music.
Okay. It should be better now. Okay. We're getting started with the movie.
Woo.
So, okay, let's just start with... Wait, I'm so sorry. No, wait. Damn it. Oh, whatever. I'll just... Let me just make sure I can pause and... Damn it. Dang it. Ah!
What are you doing?
I'm just trying to make sure I can press space to pause.
About a woman named Sarkeesian. About her rise
Cool.
from obscure YouTube video game critic to internet ambassador to the UN Women.
Oh, thanks for the subscription,
This
Deacons.
is a documentary about lies and manipulations, about the damage she's done to video games, the damage she's done to women, and ultimately, the damage she's done to freedom of speech itself. But this documentary...
Oh, the
also
Electric
isn't
Ant just
about
subscribed. Thank you.
Not really. Anita Sarkeesian is just one face in the crowd. One of the more prominent faces, certainly, but she's not the leader by any means. Anybody could have filled her role. It just happened to be her. She was in the right place at the right
This is
time
awesome.
to
I'm
take
already so
control of
pumped to
the
see
Did you
what...
turn the
that
movie
was
down
eager to attack new
before?
upstart
Yes.
to dominate
Because I think people were meaning that you
to
were
take over
loud.
video games
Oh.
the same way they took over the film industry, the news media,
How's that?
and the school system. This story is nothing new, and she herself isn't that interesting. But she's
Alright,
part
now
of
it's
an
good, right?
interesting phenomenon, and by telling her story, it will help us see that phenomenon for what it truly is. This is the story of how a YouTube nobody became a critical component in crafting the legislation that will be used to silence all dissenting voices on the internet and in the culture at large. This is Immersed in
Subversion.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Me when
And
I'm
considering
analyzing
Sarkeesian's
Rick
rise
and
to
Morty.
power, it would be derelict not to start out by considering the video series her into the spotlight.
Why is it
Her
so hard to
feminist
pause on this? Okay.
frequency series.
I don't know. It
tropes
probably has
versus
like some
women.
kind of a delayed pause so
Right.
that it's pausing for both of us or something. I don't know the deal.
I'm going to create a series of 5 videos that look at and deconstruct the most common and the most stereotypical representations of women in games.
Despite only producing a handful of videos averaging 20 minutes apiece, her critiques have provoked hours worth of disagreement from bloggers and YouTubers frustrated by what they would argue is a misrepresentation of video games. Both men and women have responded at length, demonstrating that her critiques have...
I'm sorry I haven't yet responded to anything said. I do not know what to say to the absolute spectacle happening to me. Like, sitting down to watching this movie, it genuinely feels like I'm going into a time machine or something. I don't know. It's exciting.
Often ignored the context and the artistic intent of the game's creators.
Is literally as stupid as saying games where you can fall to your death. You're actually being invited and
what are you typing,
encouraged
Lily?
to fall to your death.
The male
Sending you
characters
a
are as
link.
sexually and physically objectified in video games as female characters. Built like Greek statues and chiseled to the core, dripping in sweat and blood and dirt, wielding a gun, muscles bulging, and skin-tight t-shirts.
Yeah, great cosplay, that's all.
Yeah, exactly.
The reason I ask is because when it comes to strong, confident, sexy female characters in gaming, there's quite a split with the feminist vote. And in the case of the intentionally hypersexualized character Bayonetta, one feminist's embodiment of female empowerment is another feminist's oppressed fuck toy worthy of sex shaming.
These
What?
videos have disproved her claims in a multitude of ways, but there's a simpler way to break down her arguments.
Okay, so I've seen about 5 minutes of this video. I've seen about 10 minutes of the video, and I know that what's about to come is like, I like that Davis Aurini is like, there's such a simple way to respond to these videos, such a simple way to debate them. And then he provides, like, the account he's about to provide is so weird and esoteric. It's going to be great. Okay, sorry. Sorry to hype you up.
Categories of error that she repeatedly falls into. The outright lie, the lie by omission, manipulated evidence, and the double bind. Despite describing herself as both a researcher and a longtime gamer, Sarkeesian repeatedly brings up facts to support her arguments that are blatantly false. For instance, in her critique of this famous video game series, The Legend of Zelda was inspired by its creator, Shigeru Miyamoto's memories of...
Can we talk about how he pronounced the name Shigeru Miyamoto? Can we just talk about that? Like, he couldn't, like, keep it in his brain for long enough to, like, fully remember it. What are you always typing, Lily?
Let me type. It enhances the stream.
It is so loud. The point
let me type.
The point is that he's like Shigeru Miyamoto. Like, he fully does not know this name.
Memories of exploring streams and caves as a young boy growing up in Japan. Intent on finding misogyny in a man's memories of his youth, Sarkeesian said,
Now, I grew up on Nintendo. I've been a fan of the Mario and Zelda franchises for most of my life, and they'll always have a special place in my heart. But it's still important to recognize and think critically about the more problematic aspects. It's disappointing that even with her moments of heroism, Zelda is still damseled. The damsel in distress is not just a synonym for weak. Instead, it works by ripping away the power from female characters. Distilled down to its essence, the plot device works by trading the disempowerment of female characters for the empowerment of male characters.
Except, Zelda had already been the protagonist of her own game, the appropriately titled Zelda's Adventure and Zelda, the Wand of Gamelon.
That's the whole reason we're watching this, just because I remember that he did that in the first 5 minutes. That's the whole reason we're watching this documentary, because he calls Anita Sarkeesian out on the lie that Zelda didn't star in a game. Somebody just cheered and said, this movie could still be louder, please. Okay, I'll make it louder.
No, that's a video game. Am I right?
Point is, that's incredible to me. That he calls her out on the Philips CDI game. Ugh, Jesus.
When this was brought to her attention, Sarkeesian's producer, John McIntosh, responded by saying that these games didn't count because they were released on the CDI, a very unpopular game console. But this didn't stop her from using another CDI game, Hotel Mario, as an example in her video, Women as Background Decoration.
Here's the problem. Too many toasters. You know what they say, all toasters toast toast.
Then there is the case of
It seems like she used that as like a joke at the end of her video. I'm not sure how he thinks that. I'm not sure if she uses that weird cutscene to prove some point about women in video games. Davis. Sorry, Lily, are you here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bayonetta. She describes as
The overly sexualized adolescent male fantasy that
which might seem accurate upon first viewing.
Oh God, what
until
happens to
you
the audio?
realize the character was designed by Mary Shimazaki, a woman.
Oh no!
Rather than a male fantasy, Bayonetta is the realization of a female fantasy. The exact same fantasy which sells fashion magazines and has popularized pole dancing as a means of physical fitness. The power of looking sexy. But admitting that some women enjoy looking attractive doesn't fit with
Hey, Lily? Lily, where are you? Hello?
Yeah.
Could you say the power of looking sexy like Davis does in the video?
Power of looking sexy.
The power of looking sexy! Alright.
So the designer's sex is never mentioned if she even knew it in the first place. Time and again, Sarkeesian outright lies about the video game she's critiquing. She's either an incompetent researcher or a biased ideologue. 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. The entire case made in the first section of her lies is that she said that Zelda didn't star in her own game. Iconic.
The lie by omission. Despite promising an in-depth examination of how tropes in video games depict women, Sarkeesian will often omit crucial details which are needed to understand the context of the events she criticizes. In discussing the supposed dehumanization of female characters, she says,
their status as disposable objects is reinforced by the fact that in most games, discarded bodies will simply vanish into thin air a short time after being killed.
To a non-gaming audience, this sounds outright sinister, but the reality is nothing of the sort. The dead bodies disappear simply to save on memory. It happens to both sexes, as well as to any other items which are left lying around. Her implication that this is a deliberate choice by the developers only serves to...
This is such a funny point, because this is like the #1... I don't know if you know this, Lily, but this is the absolute #1 thing that people call Anita Sarkeesian on. Thanks for the subscription, Offshore. It's literally, I think, like the only arguably good point any person has ever made, like big problem in Anita Sarkeesian's analysis of games, and it's just like I like that he presents this as though he's providing like the what's the word for it? Like he's providing like the new like perfect takedown of the videos, but he's just recycling this thing that's literally been said at least 50 times. Okay. All right, continuing. All right.
To mislead the gaming public. Later in the same video, she plays a clip from Fallout New Vegas where she shows the consequences of killing one of the in-game characters. Without proper context, the viewer is left with the impression that Fallout must be a game where murdering women is lighthearted fun. On the contrary, what you're witnessing is the result of a simplified morality meter, meant to simulate the public's perception of you in a rough-and-tumble frontier world. Commit crimes, and you will be hated. Perform good deeds, and you will be loved. Save the entire town, and then get into a drunken knife fight, you'll be a good-natured rascal. All that this clip truly demonstrates is that morality meters can be broken by the player if you go out of your way to do so. This sort of manipulated, cherry-picked data allows her to construct any...
broken by the player? Well, how is it broken by the player? If you specifically... It specifically changed... How is it broken by the player? It just sounds like it thinks it's kind of cool. I don't understand. Did the player glitch out the system or something? Alright, okay.
Any argument, regardless of what's actually occurring in gaming. Number 3. Manipulated evidence.
I'm trying to figure out how much of this I can watch.
While the previous fallacies could
That's
be
what I'm trying to
attributed
mentally
to
figure out
incompetence
right
or an
now.
emotional reaction
2 minutes
to adult
more.
content, the manipulated evidence category shows that Sarkeesian is deliberately using the open world of video games to construct a predetermined narrative. Unlike movies, books, or TV, video games are designed to be an interactive medium, where the player's input is needed to help the story progress.
Okay.
They try and simulate reality as realistically as they can, but no game is going to be as creative as a player when he or she attempts to break the game. In other words, it is always possible for
How
a
does she
player
manipulate
to
the
go off
evidence,
script and create
Davis?
farcical results. Sarkeesian takes advantage of this to create macabre tableaus, and then blames them on gamers and developers.
The player cannot help but treat these
What?
female bodies as things to be acted upon.
While
I'm sorry,
playing
is he using the same example twice for 2 and 3? Did he use the same example for both of 2 and 3? Oh no! Did he just use an example for 2 and then just cut to 3 and was like, that Hitman thing though? Ugh. Powerful. Powerful.
playing Hitman apps,
It was the one I thought it was, Eggy Knack. It was explicitly the one, it was, whatever.
a game where you play as an assassin who's supposed to take out his target
He literally
and
used
get
the
away
same
unseen.
footage of
She
this
ignores her
macabre
mission and risks
tableau.
capture by breaking into the women's dressing room, murdering the women there, and then dragging their bodies around.
Acts of sexual arousal connected to the act of controlling and punishing representations of female sexuality.
Games, by their very nature, allow a breadth of activity, far beyond what is
Jackson.
intended
What's
by the
up?
narrative. You can play a racing game and crash into other players for fun. This doesn't mean that the game is teaching poor driving habits. The open-world games which Sarkeesian seems to prefer allow you to commit mass murder simply because that is the nature of the game engine. Sarkeesian attributes psychosexual motives to all of this and shows the bloodiest clips she can find, pretending that this is the primary reason gamers enjoy video games. It's so that they can abuse women.
Yeah, it's a garbage
Not
point.
the challenge, not the adventure, not the catharsis of being immersed in a great narrative, but because of their hatred for women.
I like
Number
this sort
4.
of point because it's just like, you know, I understand that it can be okay to have a game with strippers in it where you can kill everybody and that's normal, but like, can we just fully ignore? Oh wait, hey, somebody gifted a sub to me during your dog stream, but I didn't notice. Cosmos, thanks Cosmos. Can we still point out that game engines do the things that game engines do? Is that just stupid? Like, is that the main point of Davis Aurini? That by virtue of the fact that games have other things happen, that just makes everything you can do in a game just totally normal? I don't get it. I've never understood this point. Anyway, I'm sorry. Continuing.
4. The Point. This is where it becomes clear that Sarkeesian doesn't approach gaming with an objective standard. She approaches it with a presumption of sexism. Game developers are damned if they do, and damned if they don't. Despite previously complaining about the lack of female protagonists in video games,
The good news is that there's nothing stopping developers from evolving their gender representations and making more women heroes in their future games. It'd be great to finally see Zelda, Sheik, and Tetra as the protagonists of their own games.
when she does find a female protagonist who is strong, heroic, and equal to any male protagonist, she still finds them wanting.
So finally,
I'm going to try to
after
watch
being
40
kidnapped-
minutes of this film. Just so everybody knows, I'm going to be watching 40 minutes of this film today. And I don't know if I'll ever come back to it. Okay.
Kidnapped in 13 separate Super Mario games, Peach gets to be the hero for once. But don't get too excited, because everything else about the game ends up in a train wreck of gendered stereotypes.
So the double bind is that... So the double bind that Anita's constructing is that even if you have a woman in a game, that there can still be something wrong with the game. That's the double bind that Anita's cleverly constructing. That it's possible to both have a game with a woman in it, and for that game to have other problems with it. Okay, alright. It's all just based in their inability to understand intention as the be-all and end-all of analysis IMO. Yeah, we're going to see a big example of that in a second, actually. Lily? Lily? Are you gone? Hello? Hello? Lily? Let me see if she's gone. I think she might be gone, guys. I think she might be gone. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh no. Okay, alright.
For the fact that the female characters are made to look female, with pink dresses and bows, a design choice by artists to quickly communicate information to the player, she continues to complain.
How do we know what gender a particular character is? Other than their names, how do we know that the collection of pixels on the right signal male, while those on the left indicate female? The Bubble Bobble series stars heroes Bub and Bob, who are charged with rescuing their female counterparts and respective love interests, Peb and Pab. Lala is a feminized version of the male hero Lolo in the Adventures of Lolo series. Mimi fills this role as the main protagonist's girlfriend in the Super Monkey Ball games. In Disney's popular Where's My Water mobile games, we know that Ali is female because she's the only alligator who wears a bow.
It's clear that Sarkeesian's videos were never meant to critique games in the first place. Between the lies and the shifting goalposts...
I think there's kind of something true in the fact that Anita Sarkeesian wasn't ever, quote, trying to... Yeah, go on. I'll send you the link. Actually, the link is in the mod chat, Lacking Saint, so you can join on. What's the word for it? Oh! So, there's something really peculiar about it, because, like, it's true that video game designers, particularly in, like, the 1980s, if they wanted to convey a character's femalehood, they would need to add a pink little bow to it. There would be no other way to convey the fact that she's, a woman. But, like, I think what Anita Sarkeesian is at least trying to say is that on the face of it, is the problem. Not the fact that the designers did a thing. I do feel like Anita Sarkeesian's analysis kind of confused people for the fact that it sometimes did seem to be blaming developers, but I don't think that was ever, like, the thing. I don't know why I'm just... The problem with this this watch through is that now I'm just going to be like, I already made a video about Anita Sarkeesian, so now I'm making yet another thing where I'm just like, Anita Sarkeesian fucking rocked it. So, you know, bear in mind that's going to happen more.
There's no critique to be found. The only consistency is her characterization of games and gamers as prurient, puerile, juvenile losers who are probably violent sex criminals in the making. Her career as a video game critic should have been short, bad, and ultimately forgotten. But there was something else that would keep Anita in the spotlight, ultimately giving her positions of influence and power over games and society.
Oh, no.
They call themselves the social justice warriors. Lobbyists, journalists, and power brokers who demand the right to police language and enforce equality, without regard for the damage it does to the games, to the industry, or to the many women already employed therein. Enter Sarkeesian, an attractive, well-spoken woman with a commitment to radical feminism and a body of work decrying that upstart gaming industry. She was exactly what they were looking for.
Oh god, oh fuck. Oh my god, that was all the intro.
In 1971, a community organizer by the name of Saul Alinsky published a book titled Rules for Radicals. In it, he laid out the strategies by which political radicals could bait, subvert, and seize control of the establishment. His work has been criticized as a handbook for achieving political power without taking any responsibility. Alinsky advocated riling up emotions in one's followers, offering deceptively simple solutions to complex problems, attacking individuals rather than ideas, and creating a mob to force the establishment into negotiation.
I've never read this book. Has anybody ever heard of this book in the chat? Does anyone know about this book? I've never heard about this book. Could someone tell me about the book? Saul D. Alinsky? Is that something that people talk about? Rules for Radicals is what it's called. Should I read this to gain more political power? Okay, alright.
Rules for Radicals is the handbook for the present-day social justice movement. A prominent member and personal friend of Anita Sarkeesian, film reviewer Movie Bob Chipman, is noted to have said, "There are no bad tactics, just bad targets." It is a philosophy that isn't tempered by ethics or restraint. Any and all action is acceptable if they consider you an enemy. And yet, a veneer of goodness is necessary. As Alinsky said, all effective actions require the passport of morality. In the case of social justice, they claim to represent the underprivileged in our society, Women, ethnic minorities,
Women.
and transsexuals are prominent avatars for their
Chat,
cause.
do you see the
Opposing
did you see
social
the link?
justice is equated to hatred. But is that truly the case? Do social justice warriors, as they call themselves, truly represent all women, all blacks, all minorities in a perpetual
So
war?
I feel like this is like a deep, it's not just Davis Aurini that's the problem here. It's like it's genuinely a wider cultural thing. This statement of anti-racists, feminists, etc., represent all women or all people. That was never like that's not what that means. That's not what they think they're doing. If everybody was a feminist, if every woman was a feminist, then there would be no movement surrounding that. Their purpose isn't to represent in some abstract concept the will of every single woman who's ever existed. It's a ridiculously high bar, and it's not just Davis Aurini. You see people saying this literally constantly. Oh, this black guy doesn't like this anti-race thing, this anti-racism thing? That must, we're not your shield. They're not. It's so weird. It's so odd. Okay, alright, okay.
War against patriarchal establishment? Or do they use these groups as a shield, as a passport of morality?
Does who use these groups as a shield? Is there a Jewish thing going on here? Is this a Jewish thing?
Woman! So, woman!
Oh my god! Hi, Jeff.
You know that song?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool song, dude.
Thank you.
So these groups are using women as a shield, is the idea. So just we're caught up, we're watching, we're enjoying. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's cool.
To cover up own blind lust for power.
But you need to go. You need to go. You need to go.
Lily's fine. She's making food. Don't worry about
Christina
Lily.
Pereira is a PhD student
I'm
at
worried.
the University of
Don't worry
Nevada.
about Lily.
She has a master's in clinical psychology and is a member of the
She also hates
sociology
this movie,
department.
so.
Her current research focuses on
I've never
body
seen it.
labor
Me
and the
neither.
experiences of sex workers in Nevada brothels. Because of this, she has often found herself clashing with radical feminism. Feminists of the school to which Sarkeesian belongs have often claimed to speak for all women, but as Miss Pereira
Yeah,
was
when
out-
did they claim that? I don't want to belabor this, but when did Anise Sarkeesian ever say, "I speak for all women"? All right, okay, all right.
It's always cool how they realize there are divides in the feminist movement. They're like,
Right.
look, it turns out that actually she's a what do you call it? In the feminist movement, Anita's hated. Yeah.
It's so weird how you can have a perspective, but the second that you have a feminist perspective, it is only good if it speaks for literally every person without dissent. Whatever.
is about to tell us they certainly don't speak for her.
When the economic need arose.
God, mix your audio,
one of
dude.
My friends told me, "Have you heard about webcamming?" And I'm like,
I love
"No,
the
what is that?"
editing of this
And,
movie so far.
within a couple weeks, I was on a webcam making money, and then my world changed. Through being in the sex industry, I got more interested in studying it, and the two now go hand in hand. I identify as an activist for sex worker rights. I'm studying the industry.
Isn't he a
hoping to
sex
put my findings
negative?
out there, and
I mean, that's a claim that's been thrown
so
against
these
her
are
a
things
lot.
that are very near and dear
I tried to
me
pause. Why
in
isn't it
many
working?
facets of my
One
life.
sec.
Part of being a sex worker.
That's a claim that's been going on for a long time. Even by the left, people think that some people at least think that Anita Sarkeesian's.
Yeah, I've heard that she's kind of puritanical or whatever. But I didn't know that she was sex worker negative. I don't think that's.
I wouldn't say she is. I think it's a way over trumped, ridiculously weird thing. That's and people think that you'll even see people on the on left Twitter these days who as we've entered a post Gamergate left internet sphere, and as we sort of moved past we no longer have to take Gamergate as a wedge issue to decide political compass stuff. And so we see a lot of like, fuck Anita Sarkeesian, and I'm a leftist because she hates boobs in video games or whatever fucking nonsense.
Well,
shit.
I saw I've been getting increasing people telling me actually Gamergate was always a leftist movement.
Right.
Because it was anti-corporate. And it turns out we were just the libs this whole time.
That's the thing.
That's interesting.
Like, Sean made a video about that idea, right? He legitimately, like, years ago, called, like, was like, in Gamergate's philosophy, we can see this sort of crude Marxist lens that just sort of takes... But games, obviously games journalists are not the bourgeois, so it's obviously not a leftist movement. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that was like the rhetoric that was overlaid over it, but it was never actually about
From the beginning, yeah. From the beginning it was. It's not like it's like a new thing.
Yeah, it was like, well, like most things, like, it was an anti-feminist movement in large part that was then positioned as an anti-institution movement, or like an anti-establishment.
It's weird to talk about Gamergate because I've kind of like, I mean, I've
2020 still talking about Gamergate.
I've discovered that it is a bit cringe for me to talk about Gamergate continually online, right? Like at this point, if I tweeted something about Gamergate, I'd be like, you know, something a little bit like out of place about it now. I feel like.
It's weird. It's a weird thing where I feel like Gamergate has a unique position where most things you can at least sort of bring them up and sort of talk about them in an abstract sense.
Right.
But I feel like with Gamergate, it's like such a heated thing that like even bringing it up, people are like, "Why are you bringing it up?" And it becomes the whole thing.
Right.
It's like when you talk about politicians being in Hogwarts houses. There's nothing wrong with that, but if you even say it nowadays, you just get cancelled.
Right.
You know.
Are you speaking from like personal trauma about that?
Yeah. Earlier, I was saying that you know. I was saying Biden. Someone was saying Biden was a Hufflepuff, and I was like, "Fuck off, Biden's not a Hufflepuff." And we don't even need to get into it.
I have to turn down this track a little bit. I think that's good. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Cool. Cool.
Right.
Oh, why is it so weird about playing?
Right.
Why do you like this movie?
No, he fucking isn't Space Elf Wizard Witch.
Or Advocate, rather, is about protecting freedom of speech. And to me, women like Gail Dines and Anita Sarkeesian are against freedom of speech. And I believe that they would want to see censorship. And just look at her followers, you know, as you call them, the social justice warriors. Yeah. Their point is always right, you know, and it should be heard. Yeah. But if you're a dissenter, if you go against them, forget it. You need to be silenced. Yeah. And it's the same tactics.
Conversations about this just like literally have to live in being as vague as humanly possible, so nobody like, what is she talking about? Which opinions is she talking about? That sex workers should have rights? Is that the opinion?
It's just like freedom. Just like they don't like freedom, and they always think they're right.
I also don't know if this person, like, okay, I have watched, I guess, 20 minutes of this before because I know where this interview goes.
Being used both,
fake
feminism
viewer.
And that discourse, and right now
that's a nice couch though.
At least what I can tell and what I understand of the whole gaming this issue now.
Yeah, she has no fucking idea. She has no idea what's going on.
I understand they were your social justice warriors, and they are upset about gaming, and yeah.
They just seem like, from what I've gathered, they're just like upset about like gaming or something. I don't know, like.
And yeah.
Also, it's funny because, like, you know, sex work isn't identical to, like, objectifying women in games. I don't even think if this woman thought about it for 5 minutes that she'd be like, oh, yeah, those are identical processes. That's the same exact fucking thing. Like, it's a totally different process.
It's like, obviously, if it's been positioned as, like, well, Anita's been saying that, you know, sexuality in games is bad. And then she'd be like, oh, yeah, okay. Well, that's bad. Yeah. That's sex negative. Obviously, she hasn't actually seen any of Anita's work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that? Wait, who is that? Who is that guy? Is that?
That's the other guy he was working with.
What's his name? Could somebody in the chat tell me his name, please? What's his name?
Britt, who's this guy? Who's this guy, Britt? Jordan Owens.
Jordan Owens.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I knew that one.
Okay.
Gaming.
I wonder what he's up to.
Of sex workers from Gail Dines and Melissa Farley and all the rest of them, as very similar to the way that Anita treats the female characters.
What are we gonna do?
How are we going to tie this porn monster down step
Could he
by
mix his
step?
audio,
We're
please?
going to use the Gulliver strategy. Education by education by education.
Feminist frequency videos have been used in middle school,
God
high
damn
school,
it!
and university classes.
Mix your audio!
They've been integrated into the curriculum of media studies, gender studies,
You'll want to talk.
What the fuck do you mean by that, Jack? What the hell do you mean by that? What the hell?
Oh, Joe, what are you talking about? I think you sound fine, friend.
Wait, am I breaking all over the place on the video?
You are a little bit. Whenever you go, like a little bit loud.
Okay, well, I don't make hour and 20-minute documentaries.
That's fine.
Jack.
That's fine. That's fine.
Jack,
it's okay. It's okay.
This is a casual stream, Jack. I make videos too,
okay.
Jack.
It's just funny how the hypocrisy just immediately, whenever a lefty tries to get involved in these conversations, oh, it doesn't matter when I do it.
Fucking,
doesn't matter.
Damn it.
So the education is being infiltrated by feminism?
Yeah, something like that. I can see that my audio is not breaking right now. It clearly is not breaking. I can see that, right?
No, it sounds good now.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's mostly when you like yell Lily.
Okay. When I scream, it does. Okay, I'll go further from the camera to scream. All right.
Good.
You know, that Gail Dines, for example, makes about porn and the pornified nation and, you know, all these poor victims, these exploited women. It's the same argument, from what I can tell, that Anita has about the characters in the games. So
Where
the
did
way
they
I
find
see it,
this
it's like
woman?
an analogy. The characters in the games are kind of like the porn stars, right? And women like Gail Dines,
I will say I actually do see this argument a fair amount. Like I've seen it more than a few times where people will be like sex workers and then they will try to translate the exact same conversation around like women's freedoms onto fictional characters, not understanding that the conversation around like objectifying fictional characters is very different from the conversation around like telling actual women what they can and can't wear or what they can and can't do. It's like reading a piece of media is different from like judging actual women, but it is something I see a fair amount.
I mean, it's not a problem to be like I made this point in my Sargon, like the points I made about Gamergate in the first place. It's not wrong to be a Jew with beady eyes and a big nose, right? That's fine. That's great, dude. You do you, king. Like, it's not about that. And it never has been. And everybody fucking knows it. All right, okay.
Yeah, it's exactly that kind of thing.
Like Gail Dines. The way they speak about porn stars and porn performers, I think, is what really objectifies them, because it turns them into nameless, faceless objects that she is speaking for and speaking about. And if they try to turn around, and I've seen this on Twitter and with protests, and say, no, you're wrong about us, and hear my truth, she just says, well, you have a false consciousness.
Commercials targeted at girls heavily focus on teaching child rearing, homemaking, domestic work, popularity, self-image, and an obsession with beauty. This restricts their imagination of what women are capable of and prioritizes appearances over intelligence.
Now, what happens?
I like how it's literally impossible to take that clip and make it like a problem. Like, what did Anita Sarkeesian say that was wrong there? What could
I mean that's like a classic thing though with any like critique of Anita. It's like a lot of what she's saying is very like straightforward, like 101 feminism stuff, which is not to disparage Anita at all. It's just like obviously she's going to talk about the simple stuff before she gets into the complicated stuff. But like even that is like commercials focus on women's beauty. What is this?
What happens to young girls is when they are developing their sexual identity, what they learn is they have two choices. Either fuckability or invisibility.
Jordan Owens has video.
Gail Dines is a professor of women's studies at Boston's Wheelock College, who has been waging an anti-porn crusade since the mid-'80s.
I don't know.
She is open about her desires for censorship, describing pornography as a public health issue so as to justify laws governing what sorts of pictures and videos adults are allowed to purchase.
So it's just like a guilt by association thing where it's like she said something similar to Anita and therefore all of her points are identical to Anita's.
I don't know if it's like a swerve talking point or not, what I'm about to say, but aren't there aspects of porn that are genuinely public health issues? Not for like us, but for the porn workers, like the ways in which, like, isn't there safety problems with the? I feel like that's a thing. Did I just make that up? If I made that up, I'm sorry.
I feel like you can talk about those things at the very least without like being a swerve.
Right.
They are. I'm sure they are like many things used as swerve talking points.
Right.
But yeah. Is that Davis Aurini's real pulsating brain in the background?
Yeah. He took an MRI. That was where the budget for the film went, to just get it.
Nice.
Like, yeah.
Looks like he's got yellow brain right now. Too many ideas.
One that continually crops up in her lectures, as well as those of Anita Sarkeesian,
yes, piss
is
brain.
education. They start with the assumption that all behavior is learned, and that the path to utopia is re-education. Control the media, control the schools, control all of the information people are allowed to consume, and they'll be able to put an end to violence, misogyny, and inequality.
That's a 1984
Anybody
poster.
who disagrees with them, whether it's women in the gaming industry or sex workers who enjoy their profession, is said to have false consciousness.
So false consciousness is it's a Marxist theory, and basically it says that the people have been dulled and dumbed into submission, the workers, the proletariat, and they think that they're happy, or they're just not aware. They haven't had their consciousness raised yet, so they're under this false consciousness because they have yet to embrace the Marxist principles that would essentially save them from that, which is exactly what we see now in feminism. It's I'm a tool of the patriarchy. I'm a sex worker and I choose to be, but no. I really am just a tool of the patriarchy, and I have no idea, and I've been brainwashed. So that's what false consciousness means.
But they argue that feminists have been brainwashed, right?
That's true. Well, feminists have been brainwashed, I guess, into thinking that they speak for the majority of women who are delighted by the patriarchy, and it would be stupid as hell to try to get the patriarchy to be dismantled because most women love the patriarchy so hard, Jack. Do you understand? Like, most women are cool with that.
They're getting tricked into hating the patriarchy.
Right.
Normally has been fine for the last few decades.
Right. I like the idea that we would need, if it's true, and I like that sort of conceit that, like, feminists require the idea that we have to only condescend to women and tell them that they're experiencing a false consciousness in order to convince them of feminism, when feminism is currently, right now, a wildly popular movement. It's not like women are just not into it at all, right? It's not like there's like 0% of people are feminists just because they've thought about it.
I guess it's a complicated thing where it's like, I feel like the ideas of feminism are popular, but I don't even know if like the actual, like, if you were to literally ask people what they think of feminism versus all of the core ideas that make up feminism, what the difference of opinion would be. It's kind of like socialism compared to like explaining people the individual policies that would like comprise socialism. People will be way into that, but then if you say, but do you like socialism? They go,
Right.
No, it's a weird thing. It's like a branding thing.
Oh shit, I got to 5,000 followers. Fuck yeah. Thank you guys.
Nice.
Awesome. Rad.
You're in the big leagues now. Now you just need to debate people.
Hell yeah. I would love to debate somebody on this Twitch. I would love that. Honestly, I can't deny it anymore. I would find it so fun. Why would I love that? I don't know. I would just, because, I've been watching like Destiny and Vosh lately, just sort of mindlessly when I'm going to bed. And like, there's just something.
It's kind of relaxing.
It's just a relaxing time. I feel like if I didn't commit my soul to it that much, and I was just like, dude, talk your heart out, bro. Like, let's hear it. And then I just like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing I always find. Is, like, sometimes I'll watch like those Destiny streams where it's like him against like 6 people, and it's just this big fucking mess.
Like,
and I love just listening to the shit show. And then like Britt will be like, "This is just noise," and I'll go, "Yeah, but it's pleasant. I like it." I love the screaming.
Have you ever watched Destiny debate That like, what's his name? That like black guy who's like, do you love black people? Do you love all black people?
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Jesse Peterson. Ugh.
Amazing.
Prince.
Beta.
Debate Vosh and utilitarianism. Literally anytime. Literally anytime, Vosh. Alright, okay. Okay. Alright, back to this thing. Debate. It wouldn't be a debate, to be clear. I wouldn't debate somebody about that.
Is there anything you want to debate me on? Do we have any significant differences?
I don't know. Do you hate what do you think about me? What do you
Oh, I hate you.
All right,
so
so
do you
yeah,
want to debate
we
that?
could debate on that, yeah.
What's good about you?
I don't know. I fucking have you seen my ass? Have you seen my
That's an emotional argument.
It's not.
Please.
It's not.
It's an argumentum ad populum.
The only debate I've ever done is with the quartering, and that was just a trash fire. But I think it would be better if I think it would be better if it was calmer and I was just playing Mario Odyssey and some guy was just like, "Fuck you! I love white people," and I was just like, "Okay, King, all right." That said, I don't know. It's a stupid thing to do in general, I'd say. Anyway, okay.
Oh, I was thinking lately that maybe the Adam and Eve story was actually just a story God made up and told us. So, and it was just to teach us a lesson. It wasn't a thing that, according to the Bible, actually happened. It was just a thing that God said happened.
Most Christians don't think that Adam and Eve was literal. I mean, they can't. Most Christians are reasonable enough to see that evolution was what produced human people. So they really are committed.
Wait, so it's just that God made up the story and then just told us that story, or is it just the story itself is?
Well, the people who created I know that there are Christians who believe that. To be clear in the chat, I know that there are Christians who believe that it's literal. It's just not the majority of Christians. And as far as it's like an inspired text, right? We receive the text from God in some way, and it stands in as a metaphor for the relationship between man and God, right?
Okay.
That's the idea that reasonable Christians will have. That's
interesting.
I mean, if you believe it's literal, then you're immediately a deeply unreasonable person, right? There's no way to be.
Well, see, I always thought of it in terms of like two core perspectives, which would be that either it was just a story a person made up and there's just some meaning to it that we could read into, or that it was an actual thing that happened and that we were told this story of what we were recounted this story by God, and then someone wrote it down. I never imagined the idea personally that God could himself or herself have made up this story and then told it to us as a story.
Right. That is interesting. Also, Christians don't care that much about the Old Testament anyway. You know, they're just not that invested in it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
The social justice movement doesn't restrict their advocacy to just feminism. They've recently coined the term intersectionality to describe their obsession with race, class, sexual orientation, and any other criteria they can use to label people. It's a term that Jason Miller is all too familiar with. Miller is a game developer from Detroit and a prominent member of 2014's
Can we talk about
consumer
this guy's
revolt
jacket,
known as
though?
Gamergate. He started the Twitter hashtag
good.
#NotYourShield as a protest against this intersectionality. He argues that people can
Can you imagine being at like the food court or wherever they are and just and seeing these two men?
Some people are trying to steer the topic towards identity politics. And I created a hashtag for people that were actually concerned about games journalism called
This guy created Not Your Shield?
Minorities, women, people of all different backgrounds that these people are claiming to represent to kind of say, hey, we actually do care about the ethics and games journalism thing here. Let's talk about that a bit. That's what Not Your Shield
hope that Davis
really
is still holding like a scotch.
Speaking for themselves. Like sometimes from the social justice work community, I've gotten questions like, well, so-and-so happened. This person disagreed with this person about trans policy or whatever. Why didn't you step in?
Yeah, where are they?
Allow everybody to speak for themselves. I have that belief that every human being can speak for themselves and their experiences.
Who doesn't believe that?
For a trans person better than a trans person can speak for themselves.
I interacted with feminists that they couldn't understand. They literally could not put it together how a PhD candidate...
You know, there's something weirdly interesting about that guy's account of things, because he said, I want to direct us to talk about ethics in games journalism, which is what I'm focused on, ethics in games journalism. And it seems like that sort of begets the fact that there's stuff that's not about ethics in games journalism happening here, right? Clearly, this guy is aware that some things that are not ethics in games journalism related is what Gamergate is, right? It's kind of odd. Whatever. Okay. Boop 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 bop.
Could be could be a wife, could be an intelligent woman, you know, and could own a dog and an apartment and have a normal life, you know, because I wasn't sitting on the street with a needle hanging out of my arm.
It's sad that this person just took this as like a place to like have a voice as a sex worker, and it has literally nothing to do with Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah, it seems like it's just more and more like spun out into this like general conversation about sex workers that is like making some like banger points, like fire arguments there, but just not relevant to this particular conversation.
She has no idea who Anita Sarkeesian is. She fully does not know. You can tell she does not know about any of this, and it's so weird that they got her on.
But in a way, that's cool, I guess. That in amongst this video that was supposed to be like an Anita Sarkeesian takedown, hey, here's some pro-sex worker points just being dropped in there.
Right.
Let's just hope that that like stays in a few people's heads, and they don't just go, yeah, fuck Anita Sarkeesian.
As for the debate I enter into, I consider that I could be entirely wrong. I don't possess 100% of the information on this subject. I enter debates to understand other people's views and share those, kind of like a free marketplace of ideas, you know? There's a lot of this stuff going on in academia, and apparently this is after my years of being in school where they're teaching this kind of social justice nonsense, you know, minorities can't be racist and all this stuff. They're really buying into it hard.
What's your experience with progressive politics in academia, out of interest?
What do you mean?
Did when you went to college, did it make you more progressive?
Maybe. Most of my professors, though, would say things pretty casually like, I don't think identity politics is a particularly good thing. It wasn't as vacant or lacking in nuance, though, as that sort of account that we've come to expect from people who say that. It's not like my professors were class reductionists or anything like that, but I don't know if I definitely became more, I thought more along the terms of progressivism, which I think is a lot more valuable than just learning that black people have it rough in America and that patriarchy exists. You know?
Yeah, like those were things that I kind of knew before I went to college. And when I went to college, for me, it was like just kind of a space where I didn't feel too insecure to just like talk about a bunch of different ideas.
Right.
And like that eventually led me to being more politically defined nowadays. Just like being able to talk about what I actually think about things.
Right. Liberals do... Okay.
Hard in academia, those actual kind of people, when they meet an actual African American, it's like, no, I think this is horse shit.
Well, that's false consciousness. You've just been brainwashed into...
Exactly. It's what they call internalized misogyny, internalized racism.
The Honey Badger Brigade is a collection of artists and social commentators who are strong believers in the free marketplace of ideas.
Honey Badgers.
As an all-female group, they are intimately familiar.
What's the Honey Badger Brigade?
The Honey Badgers are a group of lady anti-feminists that were featured in the Red Pill, and then they made a stream about my video, like 2 or 3 of my videos, and they
owned?
I mean, they just fucking hate. They spoke about me with such absolute fucking seething hatred. It was so much. It was so much.
What did they say about you?
Oh, I mean, like, I recently watched on stream a response to my Jordan Peterson video, the first part of that. And they were just like, Big Joel is a neuter, neither male nor female. Like, just absolutely off-the-wall, nonsensical shit. The honey badgers. I can't believe how they keep haunting me in my life.
This is why again we need to bamboozle them, but like both getting like super big and muscular, so that when next they see us, they'll go, "Wait, these were just the guys who weren't well served by masculinity."
Yeah, but that wouldn't mean anything. The conversation that they were having wasn't with like two people who were like oh, we're the fittest, toughest. It's this complete nonsense, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Okay. Honey badgers,
Familiar with
go ahead.
scrupulous behavior certain women will use to gain a leg up over others. They find it ironic that Anita Sarkeesian will complain about the damsel in distress trope while simultaneously playing the role of damsel on the public stage. It's been their experience that women like her wind up damaging the reputation of all women, especially those who genuinely want to participate in video game culture, engineering, or any other male-dominated field. They've taken it upon themselves to call out this sort of manipulative behavior wherever they find it.
What's frustrating is that the charge of misogyny is
this person has yelled at me
very
about me
effective
online.
silencing tactic. And if our culture was misogynistic,
I remember them from the Red Pill now. When I watched that.
misogynistic, it would not work at all.
It's just evidence of misogyny. No, that's evidence of the internet, the way people are on the internet the moment they understand that nobody can hold them accountable for certain things that they do. When they realize that they're invisible, they'll be willing to do all kinds of they feel invincible, so they'll say things and do things that they normally wouldn't do.
She sat there and called men toxic. She got
But like, isn't that interesting in and of itself to think about what things people will jump to when they think that they won't be held accountable for the things that they say? Like, what specific aspects of people that are targeted?
No.
I don't know. That just seems interesting itself.
Yeah, it's interesting how quickly anti-feminism stuff immediately turns into at basically every place in the political spectrum immediately turns into men are androgynous neuter boys. It's a very fast place that people go. People are very concerned about the decline of masculinity. Whatever that means, whatever we're supposed to accept that means. Very odd. Very interesting. Okay, alright, okay. Wait, I can't play. What's going on? What's happening?
Wait, what? Hang on.
Oh, it's working, it's fine.
And they called her some nasty names too. Well, you sit around and tell men that they're the scum of the earth. They're going to tell you that you're the scum of the earth.
Did they not get a mic to capture these people?
Use
Did
rough
they
language
not?
with their men.
Yeah.
So she whined about it and she damseled about it. And got
And then she linked her blog post.
Then she linked her Patreon.
The term damsel in distress is a translation of the French demoiselle en détresse. As a trope, the damsel in distress is a plot device in which a female character is placed in a perilous situation from which she cannot escape on her own and must be rescued by a male character, usually providing the core incentive or motivation for the protagonist's quest.
And what has she done, right? I get rape threats from these gamers, right? They're the bad guys. And then what do the players in the media do, right? In the mainstream media.
What's going on?
They say, she's just identified the bad guy because they're being mean to her, so we're going to go after them. And we're going to leap, just like tropes do. They take you from A to Z in 1 nanosecond, right? You don't have to link any of the no fact-finding required, right? It's an emotional punch. It's a shortcut. That's all you need to know. Because you just
this is such a fascinating metaphysical approach to media analysis. There's well, what if we just were to take these media ideas and just you're the damsel in distress now, and the dragon. It's like a Jordan Peterson thing. This is the dragon of chaos.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing about it, right? What the foundation of so many of these claims are very specific psychoanalytical claims about the dynamics of the human subconscious. You can really always hear it, where they really truly believe that Anita Sarkeesian discusses damselhood because she herself constructs herself, places herself into society as a damsel, and that this is the core motivation of her work. Is that right? Is that correct?
This is another reason that Freud sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Freud has been used constantly to support conservatives, like all of them. It's crazy. That's why they called me a neuter. That's why they were talking about whether or not I embodied whatever I mean, it's all like Jungian archetypal analysis. And it's something that Jordan Peterson's also fixated on. But also, to be clear, they're maligning it. They're not doing a good job. It's not like they're like... Yeah, it's not like they're like being maybe Jordan Peterson does a slightly better job than these people with these sorts of claims, but not always.
It's actually interesting. I was, for some reason, a few days ago, I got interested in like the JFK assassination and like what the motivations were behind the guy who did that. And I started reading this blog article that was like, oh, well, you know, this guy didn't have a dad. He also lived in poverty his entire life and defected to communism at one point. But also he didn't have a dad. So it was probably he didn't like JFK because he thought he saw him as some kind of like father figure who had like betrayed him. And it was like maybe he just like didn't like his politics and he was kind of like radicalized by that. I don't know. I don't know. It's like very easy often to like jump to these like psychoanalytical. I don't know.
That's what my Stefan Molyneux video is about, come to think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's pop it up. Let's slap it out. Slap it down. Oh god, play the video. Okay.
Wait, can you not? Oh, there you
Every
go.
time she highlights one of these threats and the media goes after and attacks gamers.
Does she like
as being the source of these threats?
They are the source. I mean, not gamers, but the people who are producing.
She's manipulating. She's exploiting that trope. The tropes exist for a reason. They exist for a reason because they work. They work because they've been with us for so long, right? They've been with us for so long that we don't have to think about them. You see a man kicking a dog, he's an asshole. You see a man beating a woman, he's a douchebag, right? Or worse. And I mean, they're just instant judgments that we make, right? And if we were a misogynist,
my family's saying that if I want dogs, sure, open the door, let the dog in.
It's not just a matter of the social justice movement using women and minorities as a shield to justify their behavior. They also need a scapegoat. And according to them, the most wicked intersection of intersectionality.
Totoro, what's going on? What's going on? Where is the dog?
For some reason, hearing you on camera made her run away.
Okay, whatever. Oh, there it is. Totoro! All right, everyone. What's going on here? Why? Oh, my audio is being weird. Can you guys hear me? All right. Totoro. 1 second. Totoro. 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 Oh. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Oh my god. Hey guys, what's up? This is my dog.
It's a cute dog.
Hell yeah, it's a cute dog.
Has it learned any tricks?
Yeah, she can sit, she can go down, she can come, she is starting to poop outside. She's honestly a genius. Does she want to put on the bed?
Wait, she's poop trained?
She's learning. She's trying to learn.
It's nice. Right. Took my dog a while to learn to get pee trained.
Well, your dog probably wasn't very good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. No, she's not housebroken yet. Mwah. Mwah. Okay, all right. Let's. I have to get through another 13 minutes of this. Okay, all right. We gotta start taking this seriously.
We'll manage.
All right. Okay.
Nationality, white, straight, and male all come together.
Blah, blah, blah,
These are the head offices of the patriarchal conspiracy theory. One of the people who resides at this corner is Paul Elam, founder of the website A Voice for Men. Passionate in his beliefs, but moderate in his views, he spearheads the men's human rights movement. He defends those who've been unjustly accused.
That was
under
such
the
cool
Violence Against
editing.
Women
Did
Act.
you see how the picture slowly moved across the screen and then emerged a
Fucking
voice for men?
Hell yeah.
That's sick. I need to think of using that.
Against Women Act. He advocates for equality between the sexes and equity in divorce courts. To any sensible person, he might be mistaken for a feminist. But it's been the feminists and their social justice allies who have been the most vicious in their attacks on him, both online and in the mainstream media. No matter how much evidence, no matter how many studies he collects, they will not listen to reason.
I've encountered a lot of controversy. I've encountered death threats. I've encountered all kinds of opposition. I've encountered multiple hit pieces from the mainstream media who seek to demonize my work, and mainly it's because we
Do you think Paul Elon would
take a
interview
stand
me if
against
I
the
asked?
feminist narrative. We think that
Probably.
feminists
Hell
are
yeah.
wrong in many ways, and that there needs to be corrections to that. Unfortunately, it's not very popular with the mainstream media, and certainly not very popular with social justice warriors.
There's a Tumblr
Is
blog
men's rights
called
activism
Sir,
still
You
a
Are Being
thing?
Mocked.
There's a lot of men's rights
And he
activists still?
amassed
I feel like their
a
points have
list
just dissolved into the public
this
consciousness.
long of links to female mass shooters, women who kill men who reject their sexual advances. women who
I mean, do
kill
people
men
even
who
really talk
reject
about
their-
feminism that much nowadays? I feel
I
like now
guess.
it's all about Marxist, anarchist, communists.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a very, very intentional movement to make feminism seem lame. It's kind of a bummer, huh, Totoro? Totoro's a woman, and so it's pretty fucked up, and she hates it.
Or is Totoro a feminist?
Yeah, Totoro loves feminism. Yeah, she does. Oh! Ah!
Doesn't seem like she likes feminism.
Yes, she does. She loves feminism. Oh, yes, Totoro.
This is more indoctrination. Totoro is what, like a month old?
2
Look
months
what you're
old?
doing. 2 months old already. You love feminism, don't you, Totoro? This is what the left wants.
Do you want to be put down, Totoro? Popodobo. Okay, alright, okay, alright, okay. Okay, alright, okay.
to their romancers, women who kill men, out of spite after being broken up with, it's like we have been trained to look at this as a male phenomenon. It is not a male phenomenon.
It mostly
Black
is,
female
isn't it?
From an upper middle class neighborhood.
Mass shootings?
on the
Yeah,
East Coast of the
yeah,
United
murder?
States.
I mean, yeah, mostly. Like,
Yeah, or like
maybe her
revenge
father was
killings against like a scorned lover. That's like
Definitely-
overwhelmingly a
definitely a
dude
little more
thing.
common. Definitely a little more common. Not, not trying to be essentialist here. In fact, I'm trying to be the opposite. But like, yeah, it's definitely.
Well, that's
more.
the thing. It's like if you want to break down the reasons, it's like the suicide statistics, right? It's like that isn't a knock against feminism that men commit suicide more. That's a point towards feminism because it's like, isn't it interesting how this gender group tends to like overwhelmingly be the people that kill themselves? Like, maybe points to some messed up gender dynamics in society.
Yeah, I mean that's what I get there a lot in my in the Red Pill video I made a long time ago. My beautiful, beautiful R Pill video. All right, if I don't get through the next 10 minutes of this in the next 20 minutes,
all right, we're gonna make it.
Kill myself. I'm gonna
Yale
die.
Law School. She's a member of 2 oppressed classes, being female and being African American. Her life doesn't exist.
I've also gotten so bored of this now.
There's
like,
power in being a victim. There
This is
absolutely
just
is.
this
Well,
is just the
unless
shitty
you're
Red
a
Pill.
white
Is that
male.
all we're doing now?
In many cases, unless you're a
Davis
black
has just
male,
disappeared from this video.
There is absolute power in getting the sympathies of the public, which mainly fall along the lines of sympathy.
Wait,
for
isn't a
women's
lot of this
struggle.
just repurposed from like when Jordan Owens was doing interviews? I don't know.
Wait,
Doesn't even
what?
seem like it's. Well, weren't they doing a different one? The Sarkeesian effect.
Right. That's what this is, kind of. Or no. This is like a different version of that.
Yeah, this is just like repurposing the Sarkeesian effect.
That's right. That's right.
Well, okay.
He's a genius documentarian, and he knows what he's doing.
We deal with it. A Voice for Men is that we know from all the scientific research that's available that there is relative gender symmetry in the incidence of domestic abuse. We know that women hit men hit women. We also know that children are the most affected.
Insults, death threats, and reputations being attacked. The very things the social justice movement accuses their enemies of doing. With one important difference.
Wait, are they saying that are they saying that the fact that women abuse their partners too and is like a both sides of Gamergate? Like, Gamergate's not the only problem. Women can be abusive too? Is that the point? Is that genuinely the point? Am I strawmanning them right now? Is that the point? That's crazy. Okay, alright. Okay.
I think it's a good
claim
point.
The donations pour in. When they receive anonymous internet death threats, they're provided with police protection. When they have their reputations questioned, and with them it's almost always the case that some sort of ethical violation has been exposed, another company full of fellow travelers is more than happy to hire them on, if they even get fired in the first place. Internet harassment can be big business if you're the right sort of person.
Wait, what do they mean by... So how does it being big business to get harassed have anything to do with you get sent a death threat so the police will come to protect you? Well, it's like the business of being protected by the police?
That's fucked up. Yeah, no, you shouldn't do that. That's stupid. That's dumb.
I don't get it.
I don't like. I feel like I'm going like nuts at this point. Like I like at the beginning of the documentary, I felt like I could follow the thread, and now I'm like, what's happening, David?
I can follow the individual words, but when they try to make a point out of it, it's like, yeah, so like they say that like they're getting attacked, and yet, you know, the police will come and help them.
I think that most genuine Gamergaters like secretly believe, like, okay, don't cite me on this, but my suspicion that's backed up with like things that Sargon has said is that a lot of Gamergaters just at the end of the day believe that nobody actually sent death threats to Anita Sarkeesian. She got people to send them to her, and that it's entirely fake from the ground up.
I would say that most of them wouldn't say that there weren't any death threats, but that the death threats were overblown.
Overblown, and some of them were fake, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
If you oppose the social justice movement, however...
There's not some cathedral of misogyny or racism that kept me from making games and participating in gaming culture. It's these social justice warriors that when I just said, hey, let's take a minute and actually talk about the issue here, they took every swing in the world they could at me.
How did they stop you from being part
There's
of
a laundry
culture,
list by
dude?
now. I mean, everything from
about?
there's been fake suicide reports filed
mean tweets.
Mean tweets?
Police have been called to... My work has been called, my family's been called, I've been called. I don't even keep a phone now because, I mean, at this point, when everybody knew the number, what's the point? The tactics they use right now, like going for people's jobs and sniffing out information on them and all that, those are the same tactics the Klan used back in 1955.
The same thing happened to Allison.
Wait a second. Hang on.
What is it, Jack?
The SJWs are the new Klan?
That was the basic contention. Yeah, that's what he was saying.
And they said that in the same breath as saying, well, Anita claims to be getting all these death threats and harassment.
Right. Yeah, it's odd. It's also like, I don't even know, like, what happened to him? Why was he... Well, I'm not saying that he deserved to get doxxed or anything.
Or he said something... He said something anti-feminist.
And then people just, like, straight up doxed him and, like, sent him death threats and stuff? I don't know who this guy is.
He claims that, you know...
Anita Sarkeesian kept, like, an archive of literally, like, hundreds of death threats that she got. I mean, it wasn't even, like... Whatever. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. I have no idea who this guy is. I'm not saying that it didn't happen to him. I'm just saying... What's going on? Alright.
Of the Hyde for daring to question her social betters.
On April 17th,
this is the woman who yelled at me!
I was ejected by security from the Calgary Comics and Entertainment Expo. I was not just ejected, but banned for life.
Has she been kidnapped by feminists?
Yeah, well, no, she was, and then she got back to me.
I was ejected for allegedly harassing panelists at a panel where they brought up the topic of men's rights, and I politely requested to speak to that topic and was granted permission. I spoke out against being seen as a victim because I am a woman and I was banned. Why is a woman rejecting victimhood so threatening? Because you need a damsel to have a villain, and having a villain justifies every act of war, every act of lynching, genocide, marginalization, bigotry, and hatred throughout history. This is the narrative that builds empires and controls populations and justifies persecution.
That there's ever people who do bad things, lady? That's the narrative?
That silences inconvenient truths. This is the narrative that is silencing the men and women of Gamergate, and this is the narrative that is silencing my friends. I will not stand for that.
From day one of her feminist frequency campaign, there's been a figure who Sarkeesian keeps being compared to. 10 years ago, instead of video games causing sexism, they were blamed for causing violence. Claims which Sarkeesian herself has echoed on social media. It was a lawyer from Florida who became the figurehead for the media's attack on video games. He was the supposed enemy of the gaming industry, against which all gamers were united.
Jack Thompson.
We spoke to him to find out what his stance actually.
I'm really enjoying reading these little bullet points here. Lacks humility. Lacks humility. Constantly slanders the gaming industry and community. Complete.
Wait, where are you seeing this? Oh,
you're not seeing
lacks humility.
Received backlash of hate, criticism, harassment, and death threats. Therefore, that's a point of their similarities. They both got harassed. Fascinating. Okay.
Actually was to find out what he thought about Anita Sarkeesian.
Well, let me say that if I were the Jack Thompson described at Wikipedia,
oh, this is Jack Thompson. Oh my God!
Gaming sites, I probably would have killed myself a long time ago.
Holy shit!
Yeah, which
they got him.
Might have been construed to be urban renewal, but what I did as an attorney when I was still an attorney was to forge a civil litigative remedy for this.
Did they get Anita?
Are they trying to reform the image of Jack Thompson?
I don't know.
In this video about how Anita is trying to control the culture of gaming?
What's going on?
He literally went to fucking courts to try and get games censored.
Yeah, Jack Thompson's like the biggest piece of shit ever. Like what?
He is like the staple example of exactly what they claim to be decrying, and they're like, look how unfairly maligned he was compared to Anita.
To people who don't know who Jack Thompson is, I saw somebody asking in the chat. Jack Thompson was a famous lawyer who went to court and went on TV to talk about how games have a one-to-one correlation with violent acts based upon total non-data nonsense, and he was eventually disbarred. That's what happened. And
maybe they're going to dunk on him. Yeah, sure. Let's see.
They're probably going to dunk on him.
I hope so.
Maybe they're trying to make
this would be completely incoherent.
Maybe they're trying to make Jack Thompson look sympathetic so that we understand that when Anita looks sympathetic, she's just like Jack Thompson. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know.
See what happens.
All right.
Talking about it's the sale of adult or mature-rated entertainment products to kids.
Sure.
The question is, am I in favor of censorship? Do I want to limit the First Amendment? No, I do not. The bright red line for me has always been that adult entertainment should be available to adults.
Are you crying?
Under the First Amendment, they can get it.
Sorry, my dog's weeping.
Because
what's going on, babe?
Young brains.
Is Totoro upset by the anti-feminism?
She hates it, yeah. Oh no. Do. Okay. Wait, am I on? Can you talk? Can someone say something?
Now you want to go?
Oh no, not that. But I'm gonna open the door. 1 sec.
Jack Thompson has ruined this poor dog. How you doing, chat? It's my stream now.
She didn't
so
like
Britt
the.
got
She didn't like the closed door.
Okay, gotcha.
All right.
Sorry, chat. I was gonna say some stuff, but
Go ahead,
Joel's
sorry.
back now. No, it's fine.
Were you gonna come at me?
No.
Hmm.
What I was gonna say was Britt got some perla beads. She was gonna make some little those little sprite things that you can make. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
You can make these like they're like these little video game sprites, but you can like make them with these little beads on a board, and then you like put an iron on them, and it makes them into those things. Yeah, but I accidentally bought some mini ones for like mini sprites. It's a whole thing. Anyway, continue.
Congratulations to both of you, honestly.
Thank you.
Oh.
Under the First Amendment, they can get it. But because young brains are literally different structurally and functionally than adult brains, there is a neurobiological basis for my concern.
But
so
there
when
isn't,
it comes
though.
to the satire that's evident in Grand Theft Auto, 13-year-olds don't really get satire. They get the violence.
So that brings us wonderfully into the primary crux of the documentary, which is going to be the recent controversy surrounding Anita Sarkeesian.
Oh my God!
Well,
this
based
is
on
awesome.
what I've
this
seen
is genuinely
she's
so
done,
cool.
This is cool, yeah.
She has. She's very free with her opinions and doesn't seem to have a lot of evidence.
Oh my God!
She's got feelings about this. I mean, the death threats, frankly, I've seen her using as sort of a self-promotion thing. That kind of bugs me.
Are you guys fucking seeing this?
They're literally fucking reforming the image of Jack Thompson here and getting it on their side.
They're getting
So, yes,
Jack
fuck me. It's like-
Thompson. Oh, I had no idea this was gonna happen. I had no idea this was coming.
This is incredible.
Jack Thompson is brought into this documentary to dunk on Anita Sarkeesian, based upon the based upon her unverified claims. Like what?
So this is all
Jack?
meaningless then, because he's literally. If there's any one public figure who best represents the attempt to censor video games on a statewide level, it would actually be Jack Thompson.
Holy shit. I was going to stop. Well, I'm still going to stop at 40 minutes, but I was going to never come back to this. Now I'm like, fucking, I'm in it now. Like, Jack Thompson, like, did you even imagine that such an interview ever existed where they got Jack fucking Thompson to dunk on Anita Sarkeesian? Oh, this is iconic.
I guess it is actually a good demonstration of like that political mindset where it's like, yeah, censorship is bad and like the state and everything is bad. Like the conservatives are bad, but when it's that versus feminism, we're gonna side with that over the feminism.
Right.
It's like it's almost like a distorted form of like the cut a liberal and a fascist bleeds thing.
Does Jack Thompson know that Anita Sarkeesian wasn't making empirical claims about what video games were about? Did he know that? Like, which claims is he referring to that were unsourced? What is he talking about? Because she literally says in her videos that Jack Thompson is wrong, that games don't inspire a monkey see, monkey do attitude. So she's out here calling him a bullshit artist. Okay, all right.
This is fascinating.
She's kind of a hypocrite in that she's a feminist, but she's claiming, I think you can see in some of her emphases that she should be treated a little special.
Yeah.
So you got to make up your mind.
What sets Anita Sarkeesian apart is she's actually before with Jack Thompson and all the video games.
Is there any way I can get the whole interview, the unedited interview between them and Jack Thompson about Anita Sarkeesian? Because I will make a video about that. If I can see that whole interview, I will do that.
Get on it, chat.
Oh, God.
Find us the interview.
That is like one of the best things I've ever seen. Oh, good. Okay.
Games cause violence.
4 minutes to go.
It was always the game industry was a united front against, Jack Thompson and those people, the censors and all of that. They were a united front. Now the industry is very sharply divided. She has come at it not from the angle of video games cause violence, but video games cause
Look at this
sexism.
Portland dude.
You know what she is? She's a
Surely the difference is just that Anita isn't requesting any kind of censorship, like actual state. Like, does that just not matter to them, whether or not what you're actually trying to advocate for, right? Jack Thompson wasn't saying like, I think video games should sort of, you know, change. He wasn't a fucking media critic.
Yeah.
Right. He wasn't saying that like these things like encourage bad ideas. He's like saying, no, we should like restrict access to games because they distort children's minds.
If somebody legitimately wants to come in and say that video games are, in some cases, or at least for a while, they were hyper-violent power fantasies about harming people and took some issue with that, I wouldn't say they were ridiculous. I wouldn't say that was the most ridiculous thing a person could say.
I think plenty of people, like I think Jacob Geller might have done something on it. I think Noah Gervais might have.
It's just it's a very standard thing we can easily say about games that are totally. Somebody said that Casey Explosion is doing a charity stream. I will be on it tomorrow for sure. And yeah.
I've been meaning to go on that. Yeah. Definitely raid them.
Yeah,
after
for sure.
this.
Okay. Let's finish up and then I'll do that. All right.
You know what she is? She's
a colonist
and a cultural appropriator and an infiltrator. She's trying to claim something that's not hers as hers.
Part 2. Wait. We have to stop. Right? We have to stop here.
Yeah, this is a good. This is
the place to stop. Part 2.
God, what a place to end on though. The Jack Thompson bit.
That was really good.
Great.
Do you guys want to see more of this in chat? Do you want to keep going with this video, or do you want to stop? What do you think?
Chat will obviously say keep going.
I know.
I'm just saying, if you don't want to keep, I know that you get tired with streams.
Oh no, I meant keep going later on. Like do.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'll keep going with it later. So /raid. Let me. What's
Bye,
your name?
everybody.
Casey Explosion?
Casey Explosion, yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Jack. It's always a pleasure.
No problem.
Chat. All right. Bye, everybody. Have fun.